So citations are digital references that are going to contain your name, address, and phone number. All right. Now, these could be done at a plethora of different places, including places like Yelp and Google My Business is even a citation, Bing Places, MapQuest, Monta, Foursquare, Apple Maps, right? The list goes on and on. Plus, there's niche-specific directories and citations. These are digital references, yet again, that contain my name, address, and my phone number, aka my NAP, my NAP, all right? Now, an aggregator is something that's going to validate. This is going to help spread this business information. Let me go ahead and show you a brief diagram. And one of the big top ones is going to be Info Group. So there's Info Group, there's Axiom, and you can take a look at this. It's US Local Search Ecosystem by Moz. And what this is going to do is this is going to be a distribution hub. This is going to validate that information. All right. So another helpful tip is when we have our local business. All right. Let's say we started at 123 West Broad Street, and then, 2 years later, we have the same site, same Google My Business, but now we have a new address. So one of the things that's going to be done is we're going to create other citations. If we can't go back and change out the same ones, which you should keep track of your emails and passwords so you're able to log in. But if you cannot, the best thing to do is go ahead and rebuild these, especially the top citation sources, along with change the details on Apple, Bing, and Google My Business. Obviously updated on your website, and then last but not least, submit to that data aggregator. This way we can solidify and validate that new information. All right, so that's going to take care of that. All right, now let's just say, for instance, that we are in a particular location. All right, TX. All right, now I want you to take a look at this. If you have the opportunity, if your business, all right, is, let's just say, that our first verified and validated entity is going to be inside of Northeast Houston, which is right here on the map, okay? Now, do I feel if we can get other verified listings and we have the same information on our website on an internal page, should we also create locales, if we can, inside of places like Kashmir, Greater Fifth Ward, Northside Village, any place that there is a high density of population, a lot of people, and we have our median household income is high enough, if you can acquire and you actually do business in that particular area, it's going to be highly beneficial. A side note from that is when we're looking at Google Maps, the tip I want to give is this. If you're looking at your SERP and every single person in the 3-pack is showcasing their address, or vice versa, if they're not showing their address, you want to go with what Google is rewarding. All right. So when we're looking at addresses, if we're creating multiples, are we service area business or are we showing our address? You'll be putting yourself at a disadvantage if I look at the SERP, all right, and I see all addresses. All right. So that's just another added tip that I want to go ahead and give to you. All right. So you're going to have your main page. All right. So let's just call this the home page. All right. Is this snap to ink to shape? All right. So we have our home page, and then you're going to have your top level page. Okay. And this is going to be probably locations. All right. Locations. Now off of locations, you're probably going to have Florida, right? We're just saying, for instance. And then off of Florida, you're going to have, I don't know, Texas. And then we'll do one more just for sake of example. And then you're probably going to have, I don't know, California. Now, these are our top level pages, meaning this is our Florida. So we're going to have website.com/Florida/location. Okay. Now, let's answer the rest of this question. Should we have blogs? Well, probably not, right? We're going to have a blog, But if we have a multi-tiered location website, all right, such as this, where we're going to have our Florida, we're going to have our Texas, our California, it's going to follow a structure much like this. We might want to have just built off of the Florida, we'll have our locations, yes, but built off of the locations, we might want to have, this is going to be more helpful, informational based content or mini silos or mini blogs, mini blog networks, little mini sites off of the locale. Why? To add relevance and add authority to a particular silo. So if I have my website.com/Florida/ all my locations, cities or towns or whatever you're going to do, it might be helpful off of there to create yet another silo or maybe perhaps a floating silo based off of the Florida so I can go deep. So now I can answer informational queries. Let's say we're a plumber. We're going to talk about tools. We're going to talk about secondary services. Maybe have other types of landing pages that are informational query based. But of course, on top of that, once we create this, to answer the second part of the question, is just like our informational based content, like say we have Florida and then we do location, it's pretty much duplicated over and over, other than we're going to be changing out our geo modifiers. And then you're going to have website.com/ I don't know, New York / and then you'll have your location number 1, okay? Now, your first initial batch, all right? So let's do this. So this is the main website, all right? And then this is the internal page, all right? So this is the second page, all right? And you probably have more than one location. So when I first send in my first initial batch, my first press release, all my citations, the top 6 are going to be Bing, Yelp, Foursquare, MapQuest, Apple Maps, Yelp, all right? There's probably a couple other ones too. But your top for your niche. So when you're searching for your competitors, when you're searching for your primary keywords, what citations are showing up for those particular keywords? What citations? These are our top citation sources for this niche. Now, wherever my main locale is, those citations, that press release, those links, we're talking about citations specifically, those top 6 places for the main verified entity, those go to my website. This goes to the main home page. Now, when I go into a new location, all right, let's say I have a New York location. All right, if I have a verified property, not an unverified, but if I have a verified property, when you send your second wave, you send them to the top level page. Let's say I have a verified property now in New York. It could be in a city somewhere, it could be wherever. Not to the locations themselves. Send it to the top level page. Google ranks pages, not entire sites. So remember, if I have a new location, I have my New York, my main state page. I could have Brooklyn. I could have Manhattan. I could have upstate. I could, whatever the case is. Send your second waves of citations to this particular part of the URL. Don't worry about this. So it's going to be website.com/ New York. Now you could create for your new state pages a subdomain, but then you're going to be doing, maybe if you have a big budget and you want to hide links, then a subdomain would be good. But for a lot of people, for a majority of people, the subfolder is just a better option. So what you want to do is this. Let's break this down. So you're going to have your main citations, press release, links going to the main URL, website.com. You're going to have your second wave of citations going into the state page, all right? So the difference is going to be the URL. The URL is going to be varied. It's going to be website.com / the location. So the URL is different. Remember when you're filling out your citations, you're going to also have to include a tag or multiple tags, usually 2 or 3. So a slight variance of tags. All right, so a slight variance, so tags are different. The next element or the next piece is the description. All right, so the description is going to be slightly varied from the main description that you are utilizing for your first wave of citations going into the homepage. And then last but not least, of course, you're going to have a different NAP, because if this is a new location, you're ideally, if I'm getting a new verified listing in a new location, I'm going to put the location inside of my business name on Google My Business. So that's my name. The address is going to be different because obviously it's in a new state. And last but not least, the phone number is going to be different, but forwarding it in. This way we're able to create more prominence. It's like a brand new business in a new location. I have a new name, a new address, a new phone number. I'm going to follow the same exact process that I just did for the main website. Why wouldn't I? That same strength that I need on that page is the same exact strength I need on my internal pages when I go to target new locations. All right? Have a wonderful night. Many blessings, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for sharing this time with me.